Okay, so X and Y intercepts are the points where the graph, in our case we are focusing on lines, so it's the points where the graph intersects that axis. So if I have some graph, some coordinate plane, and I have a line buzzing through here, I'm looking for specifically this point and this point. Here's the x-axis, so this would be the x-intercept. This is the y-axis, so this would be the y-intercept. This, if we guesstimate, this is going to be some number in 0. So the x-intercept is some number, and we typically call that b in 0. That is a b, not a 6. And then the y-intercept is going to be 0 because we don't go left or right any. But then we go either up or down. So then we say that this is 0, comma, b. Okay? So if you have an equation, like this example 1, so I want you to graph using x and y intercepts. We're going to make this one a little bit easy. So if we have 2x plus 3y equals 6. That is a 6, not a b. So I'm looking for the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Remember we said up here that the x-intercept is some number in 0, and the y-intercept is 0 and some number. So the way that you are going to find this is you are going to put 0 in for y. So if I put a 0 in for y, zero times 3 gives me 0. So this term goes away, and then you solve, get x to equal 3. So my x-intercept is 3, comma 0. I'm going to do the same thing to find my y-intercept. I'm just going to write the problem down again so you can see what I'm doing. But now to find the y-intercept, the x has to be 0. So the x has to be 0. So that means that the x term goes away, and you're left with 3y equals 6, so y equals 2. If I were to graph this using x and y intercepts, and this is the exception to the rule, typically we like to have 3 points, but if you're graphing with x and y intercepts, you only use 2. I'm looking for 3 and 0 on the x-axis. I'm looking for 0, 2 on the y-axis. And then I would graph my line. Okay. Do one more of those that's maybe not so neat. Let's do 3x minus 5y equals 8. Now this is not going to be a pretty one. So I'm looking for my x-intercept and my y-intercept. And I like to start off with knowing that the x-intercept, I'm looking for x, so that means my y has to be 0. My y-intercept, that means I am looking for y, and then my x is 0. So I'm going to put a 0 in for my y. So I'm going to change that to a 0 by substituting. That means this term goes away, and I'm left with 3x equals 8. So x equals 8 thirds. this is where you're probably going to want to convert it into your calculator so you know exactly where to graph it and between what problems. So you're going to use that second ABC button, and this will convert this to a mixed number, which is also the same thing as 2 and 2/3. And then to find my Y-intercept, I'm going to put a 0 in for X. So that means that this term goes away. Do not forget that negative. So negative 5y equals 8. Divide both sides by negative 5. 5's cancel, negatives cancel, so y equals negative 8/5, which gives me negative 1 and 3/5. Again, this is not going to be pretty to graph. So 2/3 and 0, 1, 2, 3, so it's a little bit more than half, so 2 and 2/3 is about right there. This is very inaccurate. And the y-intercept is negative 1 and 3/5. So there's negative 1, negative 2. And I'm going to put it about right there. And I'm going to graph my line. Okay, so that's how you find x and y intercepts.